Hey guys, been a while. So something quite different. I have been in Puerto for a few days, and something I've really been fascinated by so long and always wanted to try is ayahuasca. Um, Basically one of the most powerful psychedelics known. Combination of two different jungle plants. One is a vine. One has got DMT, which is the active psychedelic, and then another is a vine that inhibits your digestive system from breaking it down. And so, yeah, basically, I mean, what people say, I've heard so many stories, listened to so much about it. I mean, some people say it's almost, it like awakens your third eye, or like, you know, makes you see reality, a different reality, what something else behind what we see in our normal state. Some people even say that it's an actual portal to like alternative worlds and stuff. But it clearly has a lot of spiritual, psychological benefit. Sorry, I'm not looking in the camera, this light is so bright. I mean, there's been a lot of research with like people with depression. It's like almost 60% cure, like instant kind of thing, because it basically really goes to the furthest corners of your psyche and finds what's wrong and makes you deal with it. So it can be quite it's not just like a trip, a fun woohoo kind of thing. It's like quite serious. It's medicine, and that's why it's used by all the native communities around here. It's the source of a lot of the spirituality in the region. So I have come here, just me and the shaman who's out getting something, and we come to the maloka of one of the lodges, Wasahi Lodge, and I'm going to see what it's all about. Been preparing myself for 5 days, basically quite a restricted diet, nothing heavy, red meat or fried stuff or preservatives and stuff, and then the last 3 days has also been quite restricted, more restricted, and then today was almost a total fast. So yeah, partly because of that I've got a morse headache because of the zero caffeine. Terrible caffeine addiction. But oh yeah, I've been mentally preparing myself for this, because you don't want to really be in a bad state of mind when you go in, because a bad trip can really set you off as well, which is why I'm quite nervous. It's not something to be taken lightly. But yeah, I feel like I'm in a very curious mindset. I have a lot of questions that I would want to answer, that I hope the spirit will answer from my own life. Yeah, I'm just very going into this open-minded and curious, and hopefully tomorrow morning I can report what it's all about. Peace out. Okay, well, I'm back at the hostel. That was the most petrifying, powerful, humbling experience I have ever had. It was unbelievable. I'm still trying to process everything, so I thought I would just make this video to summarize what I went through, and I mean the lessons are starting to come to me, but it was quite an experience. I mean, initially, actually I have a bit of a cough from the bronchitis I had, so the shaman, who was unbelievable, gave me a little bit of a potion of a couple different plants that basically burnt the cough straight off. I have no more cough. I mean, the ayahuasca also is just done, just got rid of it. I mean, that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to expel anything negative from your body, right? So it's just quite unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, it was all very calm at the beginning. Lots of blessing, calling the spirits, the ayahuasca spirits, asking her to help get rid of all the suffering, the evil, and then basically took the first glass. Tastes like burnt bovril sludge. It is so disgusting, but it's medicine. I sat there for half an hour, nothing. 45 minutes, started seeing, could tell there was something maybe starting to happen. So yeah, maybe about an hour after taking, which is quite long, I started to see colors, and well, basically my visual field just became sort of like these twirling spaghetti sort of spirals and cogs of rainbow colors. If you ever look up ayahuasca art, basically looks like that. And that's just the gentle initial phase. And then as everyone said, peered through like a hole, and there were these hooded beings, something like it was blurred, but something in between a nun and an alien, all just looking at me. And this is one thing I've heard happens a lot. You meet these interdimensional space elves, or these beings. The shamans call them the spirits. And it felt like they were diagnosing me, and then I kind of went back just into the colors. And that was at that point the shaman said, "Do you want some more?" And I said, "Yes." Because I was just having very gentle visions. And oh my word, that's when it started. So just the colors then morphed into these like Aztec or Mayan style skulls, these kind of like bright fat faces with big smiles and gnashing teeth, just millions of them, and I felt myself just falling into them and just getting ripped apart. Just absolute agony and terror. Basically felt like falling into hell. And then snapped straight out of that. And it's like, okay, here's reality. That's something else I've seen. And at this stage, the shaman recognized this struggle that starts within you. It's basically, okay, I've now seen that it petrifies me. Do I face it? And it's so petrifying that I was sitting in a pool of sweat. It felt like it was a pool a centimeter deep. I was saturated and just rocking, just continuously falling into hell, and then being brought back out by the shaman. He's chanting guidance. Without him, it would have, I hate to think what could have happened. And I have never seen anything like it. He was walking between worlds. He was in front of me and at the side of me at the same time. He was there, and then he walked through a door to here, and it was almost like, and he now recognized that I was having this struggle, which I think a lot of people go through. It's basically let go your ego. Do you want to see reality? And then he just pours an extra half glass, just puts it there. And it's basically like an invitation. Do you want to see how I do this? Do you want to see what it's really all about? Or do you want to say enough for now? Basically the hero's journey, right? So basically, I mean, you go through these cycles, the terror, and you pick yourself up, and then you have to confront it. And then began the real. Then began the real terror. Basically, maybe I should mention that I asked Ayahuasca a question right at the beginning, and I just said, why am I so lonely? Why am I so alone? Why do I alienate people? And I think this is the answer she was giving me through these visions. I'm still trying to process it, but at that point I felt like I lost my mind. I felt like I was given a bargain. I was being tortured by these demons, these skulls who then became just kind of like forces ripping at me. And eventually I would lose all ability to be cognizant, and I would just hit bottom, and physically I would just slump down, face on the ground in the water, and it felt like I had a boot on me, just pushing me down, like surrender or be thrown to damnation. And this kept happening over and over, and then I would kind of come back, look at the shaman who's now moving around me, making sure that I'm good, helping me. And then I'm not entirely sure of the transition, but I then felt like I was at the end of the world. I was the end of the world. I can't explain it. It felt like I was the matter that was exploding at the end of existence. I felt like there's that movie about the effect after like a nuclear holocaust and how humans lose all language, basically how our evolution to conscious beings just gets wiped off the face of existence. And I felt like I was at that moment where I could see that humanity was obliterated and could do nothing about it, and I thought I was losing my mind, and I would have these thoughts and like, oh my god, I'm losing my mind, and I would just slump down and basically just become paralytic. And then from somewhere you would find, and then felt like I was at the mercy of demonic forces. And then appeared this light, two lights. so bright, and a voice said, "Surrender to me or be damned. But lose your sight." So I was now thinking, when I had moments of thought, I'm losing my mind. When I come out of this, I will be blind. And even a step further, I felt like I was becoming a vegetable. I saw myself becoming a paraplegic, just completely unable to function. No mental capacity, no ability to move, no ability to speak. And I felt like I was being given this choice. Take on that suffering and surrender to me, or live in your ego and be damned. So of course I just surrendered, and this happened over and over. It felt like I was standing in the presence of God. And He was giving me an ultimatum, the choice that ultimately everyone has to make. And somehow I would go through that, and then the shaman would pull me back with a sound, with a flash of a light, would remind me this is reality, and I would see a glimpse of the physical world. And then I would have to stand up, or I would crouch down, face him. He's now toying at me like this, with his third eye, just a spirit form. As I said, he's just moving all around, like almost as a jokester, almost mocking me but pulling me out, guiding me. He is a being in two worlds. And then I would just feel like I was dying. I would glimpse reality, and then I would fall straight back in, as if the world was about to end and there's nothing I could do about it. And somehow I felt like I was the end. It felt like me and the universe as one were going through a singularity, where suddenly something arises out of what it was, and there was just that feeling of let go of what is and transcend. And it was petrifying. And I would die. That's what I didn't mention. I would feel my body die. I would feel my bones in the ground. I could feel and hear all the insects gnawing at my flesh. I then became one of the insects, gnawing at myself. And at this point, that's when I would go into I'm losing my mind. I'm going to wake up blind and paraplegic. Or I'm not going to wake up because I won't have a consciousness anymore. Surrender. And the whole time, I was reaching out to 3 people that I love, just calling for help. And I felt like they were actually talking. I felt like the shaman was making phone calls to them, saying, listen, this is bad, this guy's losing his mind, this has not happened before, he's going to be paraplegic. he's going to be a vegetable from now on. I felt that was all happening. Those three people were my dad, Aunt Helen, and my friend Morgan. And I just felt this unconditional love. And that I would then just say, that is it. That is the antidote to the evil. Of course, I mean, when I woke up, when I was dying, I felt like I was shitting myself each time. And then, of course, there would be the purging, where the shaman would kind of pull out as all this negativity, and you would just, and it would just pour out of you. But when I woke up, I hadn't soiled myself. I hadn't even thrown up. It was all just, it wasn't in this reality, but it felt so real. Obviously I didn't contact anyone, but those conversations were so real. It was such an experience. But I'm so glad I did it. It's just so cleansing. I feel that the message was surrender your pride, surrender your self-indulgence and arrogance, surrender to God, reignite your faith. Well, I'm sorry about the tears. I did not expect those to come, but that was the craziest experience I've ever had. And I promise you, I haven't lost my mind. I feel like I've gone through 1,000 heroes' journeys and come out stronger. God, that sounds arrogant. But if you say that in another way, I've faced the demonic forces and I've prevailed. With the help of God. Love you all.